This is video 2 of the review. So here it wants us to graph the function, then fill out the table. Remember that you can use your calculator on this one by putting in the function inside of the y equals and then go in a table. But in this case, we will start at 5 because that's our y-intercept, that's our b. And our slope is -2. So if we start at 5, then go down 2, 1, 2, and over 1, down 2, and over 1, down 2, and over 1. We can fill out this table because at 0, it is 5. At 1, it is 3. At 2, it is 1. Sorry, we skipped 1 there. At 3, it is -1. And at 5, if we go to 5, down 2 over 1, it's going to be down 2 over 1. It's going to be right there at also -5. And remember that we would connect it, but the graph would do that part for you. That means the calculator. Number 8, we can do the same way, and again you can put that on the y equals. Remember that when using fractions, put that in parentheses. But again, we start at -1. Then we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, 1, 2. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, 1, 2. We can also go backwards. 1, 2, 3, and over 2, 1, 2. And then we can fill out our table now because where it's 0, it's -1. Where it's -2, it's 4, or I mean -4. Where it's 2, it's 2. And where it's 4, it's 5. Remember that you would connect the line. On the next, for 9, 10, 11, and 12, we're going to use the function notation given. When we see f of x, we're going to use this one. When we see g of x, we're going to use this one. And when we see h of x, we're going to use this one. And if there's a combination, then we would use the combination of both or all three. So when we start on number 9, it's an f of x, so we'll be using 5x minus 20. So again, we'd be using 5x minus 20. It says f of 6, so we would substitute that 6 in for x. So 5 times 6 minus 20. 5 times 6 is 30. Minus 20 will give us 10. So number 9 is done. Remember to pause if you need to review or rewind. Number 10, we would use g of x, which is x squared plus 5x minus 11, and we will substitute this for x. So -3 squared plus 5 times -3 minus 11. That's what we will use for g of x. -3 squared is 9. 5 times -3 is -15, and -11 still there, or minus 11. 9 minus 15 is -6, minus 11 is -17. And before I move on, I would just look to make sure that I used all the right symbols, and I did. So my answer is -17. For h, we're going to use the h of x, which said that it was the absolute value. So I'm going to write this one so I don't have to keep going, of 2x. And I believe it was what? Plus 7? Plus 7. Remember, the absolute value means that everything's going to come out positive because it's the distance from 0. So all we're going to do is first work on the inside. So 2 times -8 plus 7, keeping the absolute value. 2 times -8 is -16 plus 7. That means that I get -9 in the absolute value, so my final answer is +9. It's not because we're doing the opposite, but because -9 is 9 places from 0. That's what absolute value is, distance. And then number 12 is a combination of f of x. So we're going to take 5 times negative 1 minus 20, and we're going to add the g of x, which is 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 11. So we're going to work on the left side first. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 minus 20. It's going to give us negative 25 plus whatever we get on this side. This side is going to give us 2 squared is 4. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 11. 4 plus 10 is 14 minus 11 is positive 3. And when we then subtract this, we're going to get negative 22 for our answer. Again, if that went too fast, then rewind or pause it and pick up where we left off. Next one, finding zeros, but they want us to do it algebraically. You still use the calculator for this and see where the graph touches the x-axis. But in this case, if we're finding the zeros algebraically, in order to touch the x-axis, that means that graph doesn't move up or down. So we're looking for when y is 0. Y is 0. So I make y 0 and solve for x. So I have to draw my line, add 16 to both sides. 8x equals 16, which means that I'm going to divide by 8. And when I do that, I'm going to get that x equals 2. We take that same approach on the next one. We can't, because we would have to graph this one. Definitely, it says with a graphing calculator. So ask me to show in class. Okay, after you've tried that. Then arithmetic sequences, you know me and my accent. So what we want to do here is just create a table. There's a couple different ways to do this, but I like the table because it kind of works. They give me these values and they want me to find out what it is at 18. I know it says A18, but they want me to find out what it is at 18. So I know that in the first one it's 5, the second one is 3, the third one is 1, and the fourth one is negative 1. Knowing that, I can put this in the calculator, create a equation. I know that my x changed by 1, my y changed by minus 2, so my slope is negative 2. Then if I do that, then I know that y equals negative 2x, and I can substitute one of these, so I'll substitute this one. Y minus 5 equals negative 2 times x minus 1, and this would make it simple because y minus 5 equals negative 2x plus 2. Then add the 5, so y equals negative 2x plus 7, which now all I have to do is substitute 18 to find out what 18 is. So this is not different than what we've done before, except it's just written differently. So y equals negative 2 times 18 plus 7. That is negative 36 plus 7. So y is negative 29. So at 18, y is negative 29. We take the same approach for the last one here. This time they give us the equation, but again, we can figure this part out by doing the same thing. If we create a short, quick table of the values, we can see that when it was 1, it's negative 2. When it was 2, it's 5. When it was 3, it's 12. When it was 4, it's 19. So I can see that it is changing this by 1, but this by plus 7. So I know that my slope is 7. So y minus negative 2 equals 7x minus 1. Remember, just using one of the points. Minus minus means plus. 7x minus 7. Subtract the 2 from both sides. And now I have y equals 7x minus 9. And now I can use that to find out what it's going to be. At 34. So we'll do that here. Y equals 7 times 34 minus 9. 34 times 7 is 28. Pick up the 2. 21, 23. 238 minus 9. So at 34, the answer is 229. Again, not much different than when we solved some of these. Just looks different. This was video 2.